All right, if you didn't hear the news, Kyle Schwarber is back in Philadelphia. 5 years, $150 million. So actually, that's one of the better fives we've heard all week.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jalen Hurts. 5 years, over 5 turnovers. That brings him back to his age 37 season. So honestly, I think this is a contract that the Phillies were wanting to get done as soon as the offseason started. They knew that the primary focus was Kyle Schwarber. They knew they weren't going to let him, walk for free or whatever. So,
oh no,
it is a lot. But with the way that he's just a hitter, I mean, I'm hopefully not. I hope I don't see a regression, but
I mean, you're going to see a
bit of regression
from
but
last season, just because it's very unlikely to have another season where he gets 56 home runs.
Yeah, and I was listening to this on the radio. People are going to adjust more to Kyle Schwarber because he hit 56 home runs. They're going to adjust more on what pitches to throw or see what he's going to chase at. And it's also another factor, too, who's going to be behind him. It's going to be...
Yeah, I was about to say. The fact that he had Harper behind him last year really helped out.
It's going to be Harper behind him, but if it could be Harper, it could be Alex Bregman, it could be Kyle Tucker, it could be Ketel Marte. I'm just naming superstars out there if they go and get one of those 3 names I just mentioned. But it could be Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto, God, who even knows? Gabriel Rincones. So the fact that Schwarber teams are going to adjust to him more efficiently, depending on the batting order as well. That's a huge factor in his game for 2026.
One thing that I will say that I'm not entirely too worried about is, even though teams are going to pitch him differently this season, he's still going to get his walks. He's still going to have that high on-base percentage. He's still going to get RBIs.
He's still going to be a good hitter.
Right.
I'm not worried about that.
And it's not because of, just like there's guys that are throwing him meatballs and stuff. Like, look at those home runs he hit last year. None of those were none of those were wall scrapers, where they're barely getting over. Those were moon shots. Like going 420 feet plus.
450 feet, 475 feet.
So I'm not too worried about there being like a huge drop off or a huge regression. But I could definitely see him doing 50 home runs again this year.
He could do 50
RBIs.
home runs. I mean, he has that type of power to be a Nelson Cruz or Adam Dunn guy. So even in his age 37 season, he could still hit 40 home runs. And
I mean, Nelson Cruz played till he was 41?
Yeah,
42?
Nelson Cruz still hitting 37 home runs at age 40.
Yeah, so
it's never in doubt. Like a DH is only there to hit because he'll still hit.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be sloppy in the field, but he's not going to be playing the field most days.
No. He's a guy that is a DH only, basically like Nelson Cruz was. He's not going to play the field. If he does play the field, it'll be for 7 games, just to spell some other guy in the outfield. And it'll be a game against some crappy team like the Rockies or something like that.
The Marlins or something like that.
Yeah, they're not going to throw him out into left field in a game against the Boston Red Sox or a game against the New York Mets.
Yeah, or a game against the Braves. Who knows? The Mets might be trash this year. We'll get to the Mets in a second.
But you're not going to see him in the outfield for more than probably,
10 games.
Yeah, 5 to 10 games he'll be out there. And he'll be out there against teams that they probably have a scouting report where they're not hitting the ball to left field very often.
Most likely, yeah.
So it's not really anything that you have to worry about other than his bat. That's the only thing that you have to worry about with Kyle Schwarber, and it's not even anything you have to actually worry about, because he's a good enough hitter. He's got a good enough eye. He doesn't chase pitches out of the zone. He doesn't swing at bad pitches. He does strike out a little bit, but it's not because he's striking out swinging at pitches that are Nick Castellanos level
Nick Castellanos, 45 feet away from the zone.
That's not the type of guy that
striking
Kyle
out
Schwarber
on.
is.
He might get fooled by a breaking ball.
Yeah, but that's going to happen to whoever it is.
That happens to every hitter.
Every single hitter. So there is going to be probably a slight regression, but I'm still expecting 45 home runs or plus this year from
I
Kyle
agree.
Schwarber.
So the Orioles offered him the same contract.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates offered him 4 years, $120 million. The Reds offered him 4 years, $125 million. The Mets offered him 3 years, $120 million.
And that's high AAV.
That's
right
high
there.
AAV. I think Schwarber wanted the years more, and
Yeah,
also
he
the
did.
priority to come back to the city, because the fans, the players, the organization, I think he really enjoys that. The charity he has here too. I mean, the managers love him, the players love him, the coaches love him. So
Plus the fans love him.
the fans love him.
And not only that, I think you also have to throw in the factor of the All-Star game being here next year, the home run derby
the All-Star
being
game, the
here next
MVP.
year.
Yeah, I no doubt in my mind that Schwarber will be in the home run derby.
Oh yeah, he'll be in it just because it's in Philadelphia. Like if he doesn't participate,
He's in Philadelphia and one of the most prolific power hitters in the entire league.
in one of the best hitter-friendly parks in the entire, country.
League. So
if he doesn't go to this year's home run derby, he's not going to go to any home run derby.
no,
But
he's
I
been
do-
in a home run derby, but he'll go into this one as well.
Yeah, I expect him to have a very good showing as well at the home run derby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to just straight up win it, but he'll be in at least the semifinals.
He'll be doing good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like this is a guy that doesn't have the type of power where he can hit it to all fields. He can hit a 450-foot home run to left field.
He could hit a 460-foot home run to center field.
Yeah,
So there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be driving the ball all over the place.
And I think that definitely did factor into the decision a little bit. It may not have been a huge factor, but it's definitely something that he had on his mind where, do I really want to leave Philadelphia when they're about to have the All-Star game here next year? There's going to be a whole bunch of festivities next year. It's going to be all packed, every night is packed at Citizens Bank Park. And as a player, it's hard to walk away from that when you don't know what the fans are going to be like in another city. I understand that Baltimore's got a very rich history of baseball and being a baseball city, being a baseball town, but it's not like Camden Yards sells out every game. The Orioles aren't good enough right now where they are giving the fans a reason to
They
sell
might
out
be
every
good soon
game.
with their recent offseason additions. We'll get to that.
They could be, but they had a very, very down year.
They had
from
a
all their
down year, yeah.
projections last year, which makes me think that it's
And
probably going to be a couple years before they get back.
and the AL East now is one of the.
It's loaded.
It's loaded now. This
loaded.
division is loaded.
You got Boston that is young and talented and cheap.
The Yankees, Aaron Judge. I mean,
You got Toronto that just went to the World
Toronto,
Series.
who just fought with the Dodgers to go to the World Series for
and
7
you also
games.
got the Rays, which somehow, some way, always find a way to at least be a decent ball club.
Yeah. So it's not like this division's going to be a cakewalk for the Orioles. This is
No.
going to be bare bones fight for them the entire season.
Right. And I don't know if that's something that Kyle Schwarber was really oh yeah, do I really want to go to a league? Well, not to a league. Do I really want to go to a division where there's no guarantee that we're even going to make it to the playoffs, that we're even going to be a wild card team?
Yeah, because the Phillies most likely will make the playoffs for the next season if something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, unless there's some type of, injury to multiple significant players on this team, they will at least be a wild card team. They're not going to go through the type of collapse that the Mets had last year. They're not going to all of a sudden look like a team that only is going to win 82 games.
Yeah, I doubt it, but anything is possible.
Yeah.
But I doubt it in my mind.
Yeah. Barring significant injury.
I want to get to the Mets now because this is bringing smiles to both my cheeks as a Phillies fan.
Let's just go through all the guys that have departed so far this
Edwin
year from the
Diaz,
Mets.
Ryan Helsley, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo. I mean, this is just fantastic to see as a Phillies fan. The fact that the Mets still think that they have an opportunity to build a postseason caliber roster with the players they've just lost and the players they've brought in is crazy.
And they're not going to bring back Cedric Mullins either. So Cedric
Mullins went to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right, so Cedric
Mullins played horrible with the New York Mets.
But that's 6 players right there, just alone, that they've
just
lost
gone, yeah.
so far.
You had, and Pete Alonso, going to that stacked division in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I don't think anyone expected Pete Alonso to go to the Baltimore Orioles.
No, I definitely did not expect him to go to Baltimore. If he was going to go anywhere, I would have expected maybe like
I was thinking Boston.
Because, Casas is like always injured, and they don't really have a solid backup plan at first base. So you could always just bring him in where if Casas gets hurt, you could just slide it, Alonso out from the DH spot and move him to first base.
They brought in Alonso, 5 years, $155 million. And then Edwin Diaz going to the dark side. The Dodgers, 3 years, $69 million, $23 million AAV.
Which is ridiculous for a guy that's only going to pitch one inning. Like, that is insane.
I knew this would happen. I knew the Dodgers were out on Devin Williams when he went to the Mets. And I knew they were going to rage spend on Edwin Diaz. And look what happened. $23 million a year.
Dude, the rich just constantly get richer.
The rich constantly get richer. That's a great way to say it.
And if they somehow, some way are able to sign one of the preeminent position players in this year's free agent portal, they get Bregman, or if they get, who am I blanking on right now?
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, if they get Tucker.
Or if they get one of those Japanese guys.
There's going to be some serious discussions for the CBA about the salary
CBA
cap.
Once the end of the season comes to a close. They did say, though, that Edwin Diaz wanted to become a Dodger, and who doesn't want to be a Dodger
at this
when
point?
You can basically just guarantee yourself a free ring?
Yeah, I'm sure if you were to ask 80% of the player pool that's out there, if the Dodgers were to offer you a contract that's $3 million less than some other team, would you take that? Would you take that contract with
yes.
the Dodgers?
I would 100% take that contract.
Yeah, because
what the hell?
That $3 million that they lost, they're just going to make it up in playoff appearances.
Pretty much, or they're going to make it up in ticket sales or whatever.
Right, because when you get to the playoffs, each player gets paid a proportion of money based upon the TV revenue and all that stuff, because it's not factored into your contract.
The Dodgers make over $200 million in TV revenue. That's enough for a player's contract right there.
Dude, they probably make like $700 million in jersey sales.
They probably do. All they sell is Ohtani,
and Sosky,
Freeman,
and
now
Betts.
Diaz.
Like, they've got so many marketable players, and it's just insane the fact that they can spend this much money and still make money hand over fist, no matter how much money they're spending.
Pretty much, yeah.
To the point where it's becoming egregious to the rest of the teams in the league, where you got teams even like the Yankees and the Steinbrenner family that are going out and saying during the winter meetings this year there needs to be a salary floor, because unless you end up spending a certain amount of money, there's just no way these teams are going to be able to even compete.
No, there's no way. And I get the Pirates are trying to make it so they don't want to be part of the lockout by trying to offer a contract to Schwarber, but no one's going to go play for the Pirates.
Well, the thing is they're going to have to start spending money to get to that floor. Well, there's not a floor that's in place so far this year.
Gregory Soto for 1 year, $7 million isn't going to be the saving grace of your offseason. That's probably going to be the highlight of their offseason.
Yeah, and realistically, they need to do as much as they can to prevent Paul Skeens from leaving, because they can't just keep letting all of these great talents that they have come up through their organization leave because they can't build anything else around them.
The Dodgers rotation is going to be Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Paul Skeens, Roki Sasaki, Tarek Skubal.
Well, from what I've heard, he's rumored to want to go to the Yankees. So it would end up probably being like a Garrett Cole leaves and Paul Skeens comes in type of situation. Because isn't Cole coming up to the end of his contract?
Cole's on a couple more years of his contract, yeah.
Yeah. And by the time he's out, I think is around the same time Skeens would be available to hit the open market. Or he would be in the last year of his deal before he reaches the open market. So, if anything, I think there would be some type of trade where he ends up going to the Yankees, or the Yankees just end up letting him play out his contract and signing him in free agency. Because he's kind of come out and made it, I don't want to say made it, clear by saying he wants to be with the Yankees, but I've heard in press conferences where he's been asked about them, and he doesn't shut it down. All he says is, I'm focused on my career here with the Pirates. That's kind of leaving the door open to the fact that He
doesn't. I'm sure he wants to give it a couple more years before something actually happens. Like, if the Pirates keep having seasons where they go 66 wins, 65 wins, 64 wins, 50 wins, he's going to want out.
Eventually, any good player is going to want out.
It catches up to players.
Like, look at Giannis. Giannis said how many years ago, I'm going to be in Milwaukee my entire career, all this other stuff, and
he wants out.
He wants out now because they're losing.
They're losing, yeah. He wants out. He hasn't said it directly, but
he wants out.
He wants out, and the entire league knows he wants out.
And do you blame him? He's a guy that is over 7 foot tall, in his 30s now, that once those types of guys, those 7-footers, start getting to that age,
on his resume,
the performance is going to decline. It's not like he's going to be that freak athlete that he was when he was a 23-year-old kid. Like, he's just not going to have that same agility or lateral movement quickness or anything like that. It's just going to continue to progressively slow down. So he's going to want to have other better players around him so he can continue to win. And you can only go through so many periods of losing, I feel like, as a superstar player before you're finally like, all right, it's time for me to up and quit on this team.
Yeah, he wants to win a ring, and I understand that. He wants to add more rings.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the same type of situation where the Pirates need to start bringing in talent now to convince him to stay for longer.
Accommodate Paul Skeens, keep him in the city for longer, and make the postseason.
And even if they do that, there's still no guarantee that once he becomes a free agent, he doesn't leave to go to New York. But you have to do everything in your power as an organization to keep
the greatest pitcher in baseball right now, other than Tarek Skubal, in your organization.
Yeah. And Tarek Skubal, I really don't think that the Tigers are going to end up trading him this year.
No, I hope they don't.
I really don't think that they will, but they're not going to re-sign him and bring him back.
They're not going to re-sign him. Nope.
They're not going to give any player 35 to 40 million AAV. It's just not going to happen.
No.
So
he's worth it, but
100% he's worth it. It's just Detroit doesn't have that type of money to spend.
They don't, yeah.
And it is honestly really sad from just the casual viewer perspective, I feel like, when you have so many good players on smaller teams that end up just having to leave because the teams don't have enough money to actually bring them back. And it's not like Detroit is a team that's full of guys that are getting paid a lot of money. You know, it's just the fact that they don't have the type of money. Like, the Dodgers could sit there and be like, oh, 40 million? Like, some other team's going to match that? Well, we're just going to give you 45.
40 million to the Dodgers is like,
it's like
crumbs.
It's like sneezing in a tissue and throwing it in the trash can.
Yeah, like, pretty much.
45 to 40 million for them is almost nothing because they have some weird thing where apparently they're like the only team that can give players deferred money because now they're doing it to every single player that they sign.
Freaking everyone. It's insane. But I want to get back to the Mets real quick and say that they didn't even offer Pete Alonso a contract,
which is really
that's ridiculous,
head scratching.
That's I would be devastated if I was Alonso. He's like, he was in the Mets farm system pretty much. If I'm Mr. Met, I'm doing coke. Like
the dude is Mr.
Pete
Met.
Alonso was drafted by the Mets, went through the Mets farm system, got called up with them, had 50 home runs in his rookie season.
He's the franchise
all-time
leader
home runs leader. And yet you don't even have the guts to offer him a contract because you don't want to give him more than 3 years? Like, what are the Mets doing?
Here is the one thing that I will give the Mets credit for. They had the collapse last year, and Steve Cohen and David Stearns have gone, you know what? We're not going to run it back with the same team from last year. We can't sell that to our fan base.
Yeah, but Alonso is a fan's player, like Schwarber is to the Phillies.
But They're at least willing to sit there and make changes for the sake of making changes because they know that what they currently had wasn't good enough, which is something that the Phillies are not willing to do.
That is correct, but when our favorite Mets fan, Frank the Tank, is going to be unhappy that his first baseman next year could be Paul Goldschmidt instead of Pete Alonso,
it's going to end up being like Mark Vientos.
Yeah. and then the Mets bringing in Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo, which is another bad trade. I mean, Marcus Semien is a guy that 35 years old.
Oh, really? He's 35?
Getting paid $72 million over the next 3 years, coming off the worst season of his career.
Mm-hmm.
230 batting average, only there for his defense. And now I've heard that they want to shop Lindor. So, this team could be totally different. What if Soto looks in here and is like, what, do you guys want me to build around me or what?
The reason why they're going to shop Lindor is because Soto and Lindor don't get along.
I know, they don't get along.
That's reports that I've heard.
That's reports that they don't get along. They said that, yup.
There's reports out there that the two of them don't really like each other. And it's hard to have the two highest paid players on your team not see eye to eye. And it's not even like the reporting isn't that they don't see eye to eye. The reporting is they don't like each other, which is a lot different than not seeing eye to eye. Not seeing eye to eye, you're at least able to, I feel like still work with the person, even though you might have differentiating opinions. But just straight up not liking them, you can't go through an entire 162-game season where your first and second best players are fighting the entire time. That just can't happen. So that's probably the reason why they would be shopping Lindor. And if everyone knows that the two of them don't get along, they're probably not going to get a significant return for Lindor unless some team really, really wants him on their team.
Unless some team really wants a shortstop like that.
Right.
Then they're not going to be getting a lot in return for Lindor. But this Mets team could look a whole lot different in 2026.
Oh, yeah, they're already going to look a whole lot different.
Our favorite Mets fan, Frank the Tank, said Devin Williams 0 for 20. 30 blown saves, which, I mean, you're giving $17.5 million to a guy that has an ERA of damn near 5 next year. Is absolutely crazy.
But it's all about the previous success that he had in Milwaukee.
Yep, pretty much.
They're paying him off of his Milwaukee
Here we
days,
go.
not off of last year.
The Mets will never win more than 40 games in a season as long as Smug Stearns is in charge. He hates good players. Don't be shocked if the Mets try to trade Soto and get pennies and the dollar.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me since they've moved off of Pete Alonso and Nimmo and all these other players. It wouldn't surprise me if they were to go out and get an Alex Bregman. That's someone that would logically make sense to fill that hole on the team where you could have him play third.
They've been in conversations for Alex Bregman and Tariq Skubal and stuff, but who knows if those are just predictions. It's what ifs.
Yeah.
We've discussed what if so many times on this show.
We've discussed what if with Dave Dombrowski way too many times.
Yeah, we can't be talking about what ifs.
Hang our hat on what ifs. So, but there is one thing that I don't think we talked about that I'm kind of peeved that the Phillies didn't make the trade for Harry Ford, because we've talked about them making that trade, but I don't think we've talked about the actual trade since he's been traded to the Nationals, right? Now, that is definitely a logical trade in my mind, where Alec Boehm for Harry Ford sounds pretty balanced of a trade.
That's a very balanced trade. You're bringing in a top hitting catcher, not the greatest defense, but he has wheels.
Right, and he's blocked by Cal Raleigh, so it's not like he's going to be called up to anytime soon within the Seattle organization. Seattle just lost Eugenio Suarez. I know they're trying to re-sign him, but there's no guarantee they're going to be able to, because he's probably going to get 20-something, $25 or $30 million per season. And it's not like the Mariners have a shit ton of money to just go out there and spend.
I was going to say, who are you going to place at third? Ben Williamson?
Yeah, so it was a logical thing in both of our minds, I feel like. All right, if you trade Alec Boehm there, that fills their need for third base. Not only does it fill their third base need,
the Phillies' need for catcher.
Right, and it also fills the fact that now you don't need to offer JT $30 million over 2 years to come back here. You don't have to worry about that $10 million Alec Boehm's going to be getting. You can reallocate that money to re-sign Harrison Bader or go out there and sign someone else. And all of it like just logically made sense in both of our heads. And for some reason,
the Nationals wanted Jose A. Ferrer for some godforsaken reason.
For some reason, the Mariners were not willing to take on Alec Boehm. And I think that the reason for that is probably because the Phillies, once again, have an asking price that's way too high for what Alec Boehm is. Because the reports last year when he was being shopped around was not that, the Phillies just aren't able to come to an agreement with people because they're not able to work out either the money or they're not able to work out the prospects. The criticism last year was that the Phillies were trying to sell him as, look at our all-star third baseman.
They were trying to sell him as an all-pro third baseman.
Right. This is
they
our
called the
all-star
Athletics
third
asking
baseman.
for Mason Miller.
Exactly.
Mason Miller got traded for the number 3 overall prospect in baseball.
And I didn't actually know this, but apparently last offseason when they offered Boehm to the Mariners, they asked for so much that the Mariners didn't even respond. They hung up the phone, and they haven't taken a phone call from Dave Dombrowski since.
Shit, I'd do the same.
And because of that is probably why you did not get Harry Ford on this team, which would have just been such a logical fit as the successor to JT Realmuto.
And instead they're going to have to re-sign JT.
Especially because his skill set is basically almost identically the same as what JT's skill set is.
We haven't
He's
heard
just
anything,
10 years younger.
We haven't heard anything about JT yet, but he has an offer from the Phillies that he's waiting to.
Well, I think he also has an offer from Boston. And I think he also has an offer from... There's a third team that's in on him.
There's a third team that's in him, but
I think it's the Cubs.
He's most likely going to come back here. There's no doubt in my mind that JT is going to be a Philly. I think it's the best fit, honestly.
Well, it's just who else are you going to get?
Who else are you going to get, pretty much? The Phillies are going to match any single offer that's made by any team. So,
but one thing that I do want to point out is apparently Boehm has been talked about so much this offseason that it's more likely than not he gets moved. What he gets moved for, I have no idea what that is.
That's the same for Castellanos.
And
what does he get moved for?
Well, I don't think he's going to get moved for anything. I think that they're just going to have to outright eat the money and
he's going to
get
moved for scraps.
No, I don't even think that there's a market for him on the trade. Like, there's no market for a 33-year-old guy that's coming off of his worst season and
making
is a
$20 million.
defender.
-1 WAR.
Yeah, like it's not even
there's
like...
There's no way that he's going to be worth anything in return.
The only thing you can pin your hat on for Castellanos in a positive light is the fact that he might still have a little bit of pop in his bat. He's got no speed. He's got 0 defensive prowess. He is horrible at bat-to-ball contact. He's got horrible chase rates. The only thing that he has going for him is that he can hit some doubles and he can hit some home runs. Now, with no other contributing factors that make him look appealing, there's no market for a guy that's making $20 million that's a player like that.
He runs like a turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
He swings the bat like a pool noodle.
Dude, how many times have we seen him like chugging along in the outfield where you're like sitting there?
Yeah,
and
he chugs like a locomotive trying to get a freaking ground rule double.
Like it's not even like he's just slow. He has 0 like grace in his movement. You know what I mean? Like when he just runs, it looks clunky.
When he runs,
it looks weird.
It's awful. No one's going to go after this player unless they need like serious outfield help immediately.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
I don't think there's really going to be a market for him, so I think that they're just going to have to
outright release him.
But at least Boehm, there's probably some
market, but the Phillies are probably going to want close to major league talent.
I understand that, but the way that they've been talking about Otto Kemp, if your plan is to just have him and Edmundo Sosa split the reps at third base and be a platoon, the two of them, just go with that and get Boehm out of here for a prospect. I would take a prospect for Alec Boehm.
Or they're gonna because what if Aiden Miller flops? Then it's gonna be like, oh shit, we just traded Alec Boehm, who's hitting 300 for, the Cleveland Guardians, which will not happen because they have Jose Ramirez. I just made that team up, but
Plus, I don't think Alec Boehm is going to be a 300 hitter.
Alec Boehm's a 300 hitter, realistically in imagination, and we just traded for someone that is a prospect that has a 6 ERA in AAA. Meanwhile, Edmundo Sosa is hitting 200. Aiden Miller has a setback, so it's another what-if scenario.
Right. And honestly, I would be willing to go into the season with Kemp and Sosa splitting reps at third base, and then if that doesn't work out, you can try to get someone at the trade deadline next year. I would rather go into this season with that mindset than the mindset of, let's keep Alec Boehm here and just let him play out his final year on his contract and then not offer him anything next year.
Yeah, because he'll probably be getting scraps next year as a free agent.
And honestly, if he comes back, he doesn't have a great year, right? And the Phillies end up getting bounced in the first or the second round of the playoffs.
It's probably
going
to happen.
Do they even offer him a contract?
Probably not, especially
Exactly.
if Aiden Miller plays well.
Exactly.
They're just going to make Aiden Miller the third baseman of the future.
Just move off of him now and at least get something in return. At least get another player in here. I understand that you could offer him the qualifying offer, and if he takes another offer from another team, you can get a draft pick
but the
compensation.
qualifying offer,
but
you're not going to offer Alec Boehm a contract worth $22 million.
Exactly,
when he's not even going to be making that.
Because he's probably
going
to take that qualifying offer.
He's going to take that
He's not gonna
qualifying
turn it
offer
down.
in a heartbeat.
Yeah, so it's not even like you could justify it that way and be like, oh, well, we'll just keep him here, give him the qualifying offer, he's not going to accept it, and then we'll get draft pick compensation. There's no guarantee where if you offer him the qualifying offer, he's going to turn it down. He might sit there and go, hell yeah, I'll sign up for $22 million for 1 year. Give me a qualifying offer again next year, dude.
Yeah, if he gets a qualify, that's the same with Nick Castellanos. What if they offer him a qualifying offer? No shit, he's taking that qualifying
100%.
offer.
It's more money than what he's making right now.
Pretty much.
So that you can't even go that route with Alec Boehm. So if that's the case, he's not in your long-term plans. You're not going to re-sign him. You're not going to be able to move off him and get draft pick compensation when he does leave. Just trade him now. Even if it's not for anything substantial, at least you're going to get another player in the door for him.
And you're going to have a prospect coming up damn near real soon in Aiden Miller.
Right. And if that's not at the beginning of the season, then it could be potentially during the summer or September call-ups. He might end up getting called up. Or it'll just be the following season. In 2026, he'll get called up. But if that's your plan going forward either way, you might as well just move Boehm now and maximize what you can get for him. Because if the plan is that you're not moving him now and you end up coming to the realization mid-season you're not going to bring him back, you're not going to be able to move him for anything at the trade deadline. You're not going to be able to unless he somehow works into an equation to bring in a replacement. But that's just my estimation on it.
Yeah, I just want to talk about some more offseason moves before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Mike Yastrzemski for $23 million over 2 years to Atlanta.
More money than I thought he was going to get.
Yeah, he had a really good second half with the Royals, though, with the damn near OPS nearing 900.
Right, but he is a guy that's 34 or 35, so he's,
But
older.
the Braves needed outfield depth.
Right.
You never know the status of their injured players. So Ryan Helsley for 2 years, 28 to Baltimore. I think that's a good move.
It might be a bit of an overpay.
It might be a bit of an overpay, but
it's a willing
Helsley is a good reliever.
Gamble,
It's a gamble, and Helsley, I think, can bounce back in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then Robert Suarez for 3 years, $45 million to Atlanta.
I think that's definitely a very good contract.
That's
for
a good
Atlanta.
contract.
That's because
Robert Suarez is one of the top relievers on the market.
they already brought back Iglesias from last year. So I guess Iglesias will slot into the 8th inning role.
No, Iglesias is the closer, they said.
Really? They're not going to make Suarez the closer, even though they're giving him all that money?
Yep. Suarez is the setup man for some reason. I say, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That makes zero sense.
Once it comes May or June when Iglesias is blowing saves, they're going to change that around, I guarantee.
Yeah, I don't think that Iglesias is going to be the closer the entire season for them next year. And then there's Vaughn Grissom, who isn't really. He's an MLB ready prospect for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, he was traded for Chris Sale.
Yeah.
Look
so
what that happened.
He ends up going to the Angels
That's
for
not gonna
outfield prospect Isaiah Jackson. No idea if Isaiah Jackson is going to be anything, but I think
that trade's basically nothing for nothing.
He's a couple of years removed from even getting to the majors. He's only like 21 years old.
And then, we said Devin Williams, but we already know he's over 20 with 30 blown saves.
And then we should also highlight that the Phillies lost Griff McGarry in the Rule 5 draft.
Yeah, to the Nationals.
So that's someone that you're going to see a decent amount of times next season. You play the Nationals 16 games, and since he's a Rule 5 draft pick, he has to stay on the MLB roster. The only way they can get rid of him is if they put him on waivers and he gets claimed by someone else, or he passes through waivers and then they
this is going to be a test for Griff McGarry. See how he does in his first few MLB games, pretty much.
And then the last move that I wanted to highlight is the Phillies did make a trade for a reliever, Yoniel Curat from the Rays, who didn't pitch much last year, but he was with the actual major league organization. He was DFA'd because the Rays don't like to keep players.
He was the number 2 Rays prospect to start the 2025 season. So
yeah, and
this is how you say his name, Yoniel Curat.
Yoniel Curat. So that was horrible pronunciation on my point. Sorry, Joniel. But you're probably going to be getting a lot of people that are going to say your name wrong because we are in Philadelphia, and this is a place where we don't like to call people by their actual name.
Pretty much.
You still have people saying Castellanos, even though he's been here for freaking 5 years.
Castellanos.
And they don't know how to say his name still.
Castellanos.
That's
funny, though.
I know, it's funny, but it's also like, guys, when are we finally going to start calling people by their correct name? Like...
Castellanos, Jesus.
Like, you can't tell me that you just turned on the Phillies this season and you don't know who Castellanos is and you don't know how to say Castellanos. It's not like it's exactly hard to say.
No, it's not hard to say at all.
It's just that people don't want to actually learn the correct way to pronunciate these names.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they gave up reliever Tommy McCollum, who has been a minor leaguer for the past 4 seasons. He's like 26 years old. Minor league relief pitcher, so they didn't give up a lot to get him. So who knows? Maybe he might end up turning into some type of guy you could either use in a 6th inning role, a 7th inning role. And at this point, with them trying to move on from Matt Strahm and with the very inconsistent pitching of Ryan Kirkring last season, I'm sure that they're just going to be looking to throw a couple of darts at the board and hope that something ends up staying. And this is a very low risk but high payoff move that could potentially end up being a substantial move if this guy, Yoniel Curat, can actually pitch.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm hoping we get some more offseason news about JT and where Ranger Suarez and Harrison Bader and, other players are going to go. I hope so, because the winter meetings have been pretty boring, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This is one of the more boring winter meetings over the past few years. Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso were pretty much the headliners, Edwin Diaz.
Yep.
But
still a lot of guys
guys out there. Kyle Tucker out there, Alex Bregman, Ranger, Framber Valdez.
And I really think the reason for that is the uncertainty of the CBA.
People
don't want to give out these
CBA,
long-term big money contracts when they have no idea what the CBA for the next 10 years is going to be like.
Pretty much, yeah. So hopefully someone agrees to a contract and, that was our winter meetings talk.
Or hopefully the Phillies can make a trade for Ketel Marte,
Yeah, even though I doubt it, so.
I doubt it as well, but it's a pipe dream, but it's a nice pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream, yeah, I agree. So thanks for listening, guys.